is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Ohio.
The Indians clawed their way back into the game last night, only to see a flash of Orioles power put it away in the seventh. The Tribe will look to follow the O's blueprint today, get an early lead against former Indian Ubaldo Jimenez. It all starts in the center of the diamond, and Danny Salazar will attempt to throw up some early zeros next on Sports Time Ohio. A warm Saturday in downtown Cleveland as the Indians continue their holiday weekend series against the Baltimore Orioles. And today the Indians will look to even things up at a game apiece. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. Baltimore got the best of the Indians in Game 1 last night. We saw a little too much of Manny Machado, who has really burst onto the scene. I mean, he's been around for a while, but last year he had 35 home runs, really showing you what he's capable of.
Well, this guy is one of the better players in the game of baseball today. He was very aggressive last night. The first time he hit number 3 in the lineup, and boy, he hit the ball to all parts of the ballpark, a couple of doubles off the wall, and this guy is really a young budding superstar. He was the player of the month of April for the American League. Last night, 4 for 5. He did it on about 4 or 5 pitches. You can see on the season, 13 homers, 29 RBIs. He's had a great season already against the American League Central. You got to find a way to maybe pitch around this guy.
Well, in 4 of his 5 at-bats last night, he swung at the first pitch. I'm curious to see if Danny Salazar took note of that and what he'll do here this afternoon. Danny, pitching at home, hopefully we'll see a better version of Salazar than we saw on the road. He's 9-3 in his career in this ballpark with a 2.57 ERA.
Well, and Danny Salazar had a hiccup in the first inning, a 40-pitch first inning in Boston. I don't know if that small ballpark had anything to do with it. Hopefully he'll bounce back here. He's 2-1 this year at home, and in Baltimore, against Baltimore, he's 2-1 in his career, but he's facing Ubaldo Jimenez, who's struggling this year. He does not have a road win, a ERA over 7. He's been walking too many hitters. See if the Indians can get an early lead, turn it over to Salazar, and let him go to work.
Last night, Jose Ramirez had a career night at the dish. He had 4 hits and 4 at-bats, and when we come back, Andre Knott has the latest on the Indians' new super utility man. Cleveland Indians baseball is brought to you by W.B. Mason, the official office supplier of the Cleveland Indians. By McDonald's, I'm loving it. And by your local Toyota dealers, visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Ever since I got over here, you know, we messed around with each other, and you know, we have fun. So, you know, I like to encourage people to, you know, get the best out of them and, you know, just swing the bat really well.
He had a little spell there last week where he wasn't, you know, swinging it great, but he bounced right back, and he's been really valuable for us. We've played him all over, we've hit him all over, and he's been, especially with Brandt out, he's been really big for us because he's done a lot of things offensively.
Mike Napoli and Terry Francona with our Hear Right Sounds of the game, talking about Jose Ramirez, who has really filled a valuable role for the Indians this year, playing all over the place, especially in the outfield. He's been great defensively. Now he's really starting to come into his own offensively. With more on Jose Ramirez, here's Andre Knott.
Well, for Jose Ramirez, he's batting in the 5 spot, and from afar, he doesn't look like the prototypical 5th batter. And really, when you look at the leadoff hitter, Carlos Santana doesn't look like the prototypical leadoff hitter. But in talking to Terry Francona, he goes, look inside the numbers, and you'll see why he's doing it. When you get a guy in scoring position with 2 outs, Ramirez right now is a guy that does not strike out and finds a way to get on base. Santana's a guy that walks a lot, so he likes those 2 guys there. This is the 22nd start of the season at left field for Ramirez. Slowly but surely, he's getting more and more comfortable at the position. He scored 5 runs in 5 games straight, and after going 4 for 4 last night, this week, since a home run in Chicago, he's 7 of 24, and he's been in the middle of anything offensively the Indians have done this week.
And Andre, obviously, with Michael Brantley, his return still in question. It looks like Ramirez is going to get the bulk of the playing time out there.
He's going to get the bulk of the time out there, and he is getting more comfortable with the plays out in left field. And if he keeps swinging the bat the way he's been swinging it recently, I think they'll be okay, even though they're ready to get Michael back as soon as possible.
Well, I'll tell you what, the job he has done with Brantley out has been phenomenal, because he hasn't had one spot in the lineup. He's been the floater up and down the lineup offensively, defensively, third base. You know, he'll come in late into a ball game, which is a no-win situation because you're expected to make the plays when you're in the late part of the ball game. If this guy gets an opportunity when Michael comes back and he gets back to full strength and you can play him, it'd be nice to see him play one position. I don't know if he's ever going to do that now.
Well, you're right. And we've seen guys succeed in that role where they're not an everyday player at one position, but they're an everyday player.
Right. Yeah,
Ben Zobrist comes to mind.
Well, Ben Zobrist, and you go back to where it all started. Tony Phillips was one guy that you know, started that utility player, but I'll tell you, Ramirez has been outstanding.
The Indians take the field behind Danny Salazar, and it is smoking hot at game time here this afternoon. Let's take a look at the lineup Danny will face for Buck Showalter and the Baltimore Orioles. Adam Jones leading it off, and he was good last night with 3 hits. Hyun-Soo Kim will bat second, Manny Machado third. Chris Davis, Mark Trumbo, and Matt Wieters in the lineup today, occupying the middle third. Then it's Jonathan Scope. Pedro Alvarez is at third base and hitting 8th, the former Pirate. And Joey Rickard in right field today, batting 9th.
And today's Northern Ohio Honda starting pitcher for the Indians, Danny Salazar, his 10th start this year, coming off a season low 4 1/3 innings at Boston, where he gave up 8 hits and 4 runs. That was you know, just a start. He was all over the place. He had a 40-pitch first inning. He needs to bounce back here, get aggressive. Now, that's the one thing we're going to watch today, because Baltimore's offense was very aggressive yesterday against Trevor Bauer. We'll see if they do the same, because when Salazar is on the mound, he gets the 2 strikes on a hitter. They're hitting just 104, so they may want to try to avoid that, and you can't blame them. Let's check out the defense behind him today, brought to you by Jeep. Looks like this: Ramirez in left, Davis in center, Chisenhall in right. It'll be Uribe at third, Lindor at short, Kipnis is at second, Napoli at first, and Gomes behind the plate.
Jim Wolf will call the balls and strikes. Adrian Johnson at first, crew chief Gary Cederstrom at second, Lance Barksdale down at third. 86 degrees at game time here this afternoon. And according to the scoreboard, even warmer than that. Scoreboard showing 89, but
at 72 yesterday.
I know, I'm not so sure how accurate the scoreboard
We're not going
thermometer
off the scoreboard.
is. Tell you what, though, it is hot. And this is beautiful on this Memorial Day weekend. Nice crowd settling in for Indians O's Part 2. And right now, the Indians trying to get back on the winning track against their former arch rivals in the old AL East days. And you have to go back that far for a longer losing streak against Baltimore for the Indians. They've dropped 5 in a row. They haven't lost more than 5 straight to the O's since a 9-game skid back in 1978 that carried over into 1979. We're underway on the first pitch. Jones pops it in the air, left center field. Rajay Davis over, and the center fielder has it, 1 down.
Well, we thought they were going to get aggressive. They swung at 19 first pitch swings yesterday, and they start the game off today.
Brick, the keys to the game, courtesy of Wayside Furniture. The Danny Salazar changeup. When he's ahead in the count, he'll throw that changeup almost 40% of the time. And for the Indians hitters, patience against Ubaldo Jimenez. He has 1,500 career strikeouts, but 745 career walks.
Yeah, they may be able to get that pitch count up on him. He's normally at best 5 innings, 100 pitches.
First pitch to Hyun-Soo Kim is up high. He was 0 for 3 last night. Scored a run. He was punked on the left big toe by a pitch from Trevor Bauer his first time up. And it hobbled him as he went down to first base. But he's back in the lineup here today, and he grounds out. And Danny Salazar has made 3 pitches. And he's got 2 outs.
What a difference. What a difference a start makes.
This was last night, that pitch down and in. I'm not so sure it didn't get him closer to the navicular bone, which is a little bit higher up on the foot. It's
Dr.
painful.
Underwood. What bone?
I've dealt with that before.
Okay.
I speak from experience, my friend.
Can I borrow your stethoscope? That was good.
Just call me Doc. Now here's Manny Machado. This guy, we talked about him in the open. 4 for 5, and in 4 of those 5 at bats last night, he swung at the first pitch and did some serious hurt with it.
He sure did.
A couple of doubles.
Yeah, you look at his rankings. He's right up there too with multi-hit games. He's 1 ahead of Francisco Lindor. He's 2nd in hits.
Nice pitch by Danny over the outside corner for a strike, and it's 1-1. Fastball down and in, just off the dish. 2 balls and a strike. And a good off-speed pitch, but
well, that's good changeup. You know, well, it was a little low, and the thing of it is, when 2-1 count, you're going to have to throw that for a strike. When you get to 2 strikes, that's when you'll see the hitter chase that pitch. But if they don't have to swing at it, they're certainly not going to. They're looking for his heater.
And just missing, ball 4. So a tight strike zone and a 2-out walk. They'll bring up Chris Davis. So Salazar will go from the stretch now. And he gets ahead with a first pitch strike. Sometimes it's that first pitch strike that makes all the difference. This year, when Salazar's ahead either 0-1 or 0-2, after those counts, batters are a combined 150 average. With 71 strikeouts, 8 walks, he has given up a couple of home runs, but he gets ahead early, and usually it's very difficult for the hitter to get back into the at-bat. And a high fastball puts him ahead of 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now is where that changeup can be very effective.
Yeah, exactly.
Two balls, 2 strikes.
We've seen Danny this year in the first inning have some command issues where he's got to get a feel and locating that fastball. And, you know, he's missing a little bit, but he's trying to zone it in.
It sounds so simple because he has such a gift. He has the kind of fastball that when he wants to throw it, he can just rear back and throw it right by you.
Oh, there's no doubt. And it's easy too. I mean, there's not max effort out there. But with the off-speed pitch, looked like it might have been a curveball. I think his changeup's a little harder than 84. But sometimes we have had, you know, trouble. Yeah, that one looked like a curveball.
Yeah, that definitely looked at some spin
but
to it.
There's times where the way he holds that changeup, it's hard to tell whether it's a slider, which way it goes sometimes, depending on
just how he grips it.
Yeah, the pressure on the grip.
Here's the 2-2. Strike 3 called with a fastball. Davis out looking. And the Orioles strand a man in the first. The Indians are coming to bat. Francona's Cleveland Indians. The lineup is brought to you by Progressive. Carlos Santana once again in the leadoff spot. Then it's Francisco Lindor hitting third. Mike Napoli, Jose Ramirez, and Juan Uribe, who's driven in a run in 4 straight games. Then it's Yan Gomes, Lonnie Chisenhall, and Rajai Davis.
And today's Northern Ohio Hyundai starting pitcher, Ubaldo Jimenez, who we know. He spent parts of 3 seasons here with the Indians. His number's not very good. 2-5 and a 6.04 earned run average. He's 0-3 on the road. As we told you in the open, an ERA of over 7. Command has been the issue. 27 walks and 63 hits. So he's had 90 base runners in his 50 innings of work. So, I mean, there's been a lot of guys on the pads. And you have to make him get in the strike zone.
It sounds like I've heard this before.
Yeah. It's a matter of command and mechanics. You know, when he's in sync and he's throwing, boy, he can be tough to hit.
Well,
when he's out of sync and he's not on, it's a lot of pitches, and the defense can get a little, you know, back on their heels. You can't be aggressive off Ubaldo.
To your point, in his 2 wins this year, he went 7 innings, he went 8 innings. In those 2 wins, he walked 1 and struck out 15.
There you go.
In his other 7 starts, he's averaged 4 walks, 4 strikeouts, and only 5 innings per start.
And I mean, he has the stuff. He's got a curveball, a nice changeup, but it's all about the pitch count with him.
Santana sucks it into right field. And the Indians start the game with a line drive base hit. Santana hit that ball so hard, it hit the lip of the grass just at the edge of the skin portion of the infield and then shot straight up in the air.
Well, it looked like just a fastball that was stayed belt high. And not much movement to it, and Santana gives the Indians a start, their first hit.
Watch this ball hit. Watch the divot that it took.
Oh yeah, right on the edge of the grass.
And Jason Kipnis looks, it's up high, ball one. Kipnis with a hit in 5 consecutive games. Repair your divots. Maybe Carlos has got a little divot tool in his back pocket when he goes by.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you're a second baseman or somebody out there, they're going to fix it, I would think.
Upstairs, 3-0.
You know, starting a game out, that's what I think I would do. My plan of attack offense, make him throw strikes. You could take 2 pitches here to make him get in the zone and, you know, challenge him to throw 3.
Ubaldo Jimenez. Behind Kipnis, 3-1 with Santana aboard. And he just missed. And that's a problem we saw when he was here in Cleveland. He might make some good pitches here and there, but when you're constantly 3-0, 3-1, you just don't get the close one.
That's my point. You take it and let the umpire get a good look at it and force him. You know, you're going to find out where the edge of his plate will be. And Jim Wolf's a good ball strike umpire behind the plate. He's going to make you get it on the dish.
Francisco Lindor takes an off-speed pitch down for ball 1.
Weeder's coming out, having a talk with him. You know, whether it's confidence, mechanics.
I think it's all mechanics.
You know,
I mean, no, I shouldn't say that. It's a lot of mechanics. But I think the confidence somehow is interwoven with the mechanics. When he's confident, the mechanics seem to flow a lot easier. Yeah. Rick, I remember when he was in Cleveland, we always marveled at the sort of unorthodox nature of his delivery and how he'll wrap that pitching hand around his back. It seems more pronounced to me here today.
Where it's really coming out of the glove fast. Well, and the thing of it is, he was making a transition here from not throwing 97 like he once did down into the low 90s. You know what I'm saying? And he had a trouble, you know, he felt like he was going to get shelled.
Again, it's a 3-0 count, and Lindor taking all the way. And with a 3-1 situation, Mike Napoli waiting on deck. Lindor swings and a slow roller to first.
Well, they'll get him over.
And that is the first out in the inning as Santana goes to third and Kipnis into scoring position.
Let's check the defense behind Jimenez today. It's going to be Kim in left field, Jones in center. Rickard is over in right. Alvarez is at third. Machado at short. Scope is at second. Davis at first. Weeder's behind the plate.
Now here's a matchup that should be interesting because Mike Napoli takes, or I shouldn't say take, he sees more pitches per plate appearance than anybody in the game.
I am watching Kirby and Adam Jones go at it. Kirby's trying to set him to play in center field, and He's talking to him, yelling at him, and he's yelling right back. Look at it. They're going at it. It's pretty funny. He wants him to play one spot. Jones is saying, I'm out here. I'm going to play where I think he should.
Ground ball to third, and it gets by Alvarez down the left field line. Santana scores. Here comes KIPNIS. Napoli into second base with a 2-run double. Pedro Alvarez, never known for his glove when he was with the Pittsburgh Pirates, went into Olay mode on that chopper and couldn't even get leather on it.
Well, it looked like a backhanded play, but he never touched it. Take a look at it. Big hop for him and in between, but that ball gets by him. So his footwork never really came in and charged that ball, and he had time, I think, because that ball was up. He laid back on it, and that ball played him. And it stayed down, and it gets by him. So Napoli,
no, they don't give him a hit either.
Is that an error?
He charged him with an error and only 1 run batted in.
Okay. Well, that's the ball. He let the ball play him there instead of being aggressive and trying to come get it. And he might have had to play at the plate had he done that.
2-0 Cleveland, and Jose Ramirez batting with a runner in scoring position and 1 out. Down and in, and a nice backhanded pick right there by Wieters. And Ramirez almost looked like he was kind of caught in between there, 2-2. After his 4-for-4 performance last night, Jose Ramirez has 15 hits in his last 33 at bats here at home. And a little bit high, full count. And a 3-2 pitch is low, ball 4. He's walked his second in the inning. And the 6th man to bat will be Juan Uribe. And Buck Showalter is already on the horn.
That's the hot line, the red one. I mean, you know, 1 hit, they've given up 2 runs. They've got 2 more guys on, but the 2 walks and an error. And that's what happens when a guy like this pitches. He falls behind. The guys aren't aggressive. And you know what? You get bad defense. And Baltimore's a good fielding team. They're 5th in the league. They've made 23 errors, now 24 with the 1. But when you play behind guys like this, they put you to sleep. We talked about that about Josh Tomlin in Chicago when he pitched. Boy, you know, you score, you go out, he has an 8-pitch inning, you come in. Big difference when you play behind guys that throw strikes.
Runners go. Here's the throw to third. It's in the dirt, and a great pick by Alvarez to keep that from going into left field. He might have just saved the Orioles a run.
Now that's Mike Napoli that's stealing the base on you because you're not paying attention.
His 2nd of the year, and Jose Ramirez will get credited with his 4th.
Yeah, and you know what? That was a very good pick. Alvarez makes it. Saved Wieters because that ball could have very easily gone into left field, so he can't apply the tag. Both runners move up now.
And now Juan Uribe, who has driven in a run in 4 consecutive games after he drove in 6 runs total in his first 32 games this season. So he's on a little roll right now.
Yeah, he's been hitting a lot of line drives. Oh.
He had a good look at that pitch, but following it straight back, he's behind 1-2. Already 25 pitches for Ubaldo and 15 balls to just 10 strikes.
You know, he is just on the year. He averages just about 18 pitches per inning.
And Uribe with a line drive right into the glove of shortstop Manny Machado. 2 down.
Well, again, another line drive off the bat of Uribe. but it's right into the tracks. Machado was cheating. He was probably halfway in, you can see, and he's big enough, tall enough to jump up and make the catch. Out number 2.
Yeah, you know, if he's all the way in, I don't know. He might not have been able to get up fast enough to get that ball. But he is a tremendous defender. And so with 2 down, Yan Gomes steps to the plate. And he hits a ground ball. A diving attempt, but Scope can't get it. Scoring is Napoli. Here comes Ramirez. He scores 2. Yan Gomes with a 2-out, 2-run single to right. And it's a 4-run first for Cleveland as Gomes continues his hot-hitting ways with runners in scoring position. That's his 11th hit in 29 tries with 20 runs batted in. Our AT&T high-speed replay, Rick, really good approach there. Pitches away, you go with it.
And he desperately needed that. He's been struggling offensively, boy, to come up. And what the Indians did right now, they did what Baltimore did, that 2-out base hit in the first inning. They had 3 yesterday, but that makes it a 4-run inning, and that is a huge hit right there, believe it or not. I know it's early, but for Gomes, he needed that. That's a confidence builder.
Lonnie Chisenhall bats with 2 down and a runner at first. And a big chopper over the head of Davis. And on his way to third base goes Yan Gomes. Indians at the corners with 2 down. Their 3rd hit in the inning.
Well,
and now Dave Wallace, the Orioles pitching coach, is going to go out and talk with Ubaldo Jimenez.
See how high that ball bounced out in front of the plate? Davis was holding him on, which he had to. He comes off, and that thing was like it hit a rock or something and took off. Very hard, bounced over his head. So another base hit. Wallace is coming out until that bullpen is ready.
Dave Wallace, of course, and Terry Francona go back a number of years. Dave was Terry's pitching coach in Boston when the Red Sox won their first World Championship under Francona. But he's got his hands full with Ubaldo Jimenez, and Rajai Davis will be the 9th man to bat in the inning. Rajai is 8th in the American League with runners in scoring position. And he's got Gomes at 3rd with Chisenhall at 1st and 2 down. And it's low and away, ball 1. Pitching from behind, so much more difficult. You think that first pitch, I mean, how much could one pitch really matter? Well, the numbers bear it out. It's pretty significant when you can throw first pitch strikes as opposed to all the time. You're 1-0 all the time.
Yeah.
I think you said it last night. The minute you put the hitter in a little bit of a defensive posture, he can't get as good a swing. Remember, you're talking about the changeup last night.
Yes. If you can expand, he has some doubt. He can't go out for certain pitches. He has to just hesitate a split second. And that's all it takes when you're in the batter's box.
A pretty good pitch, but a little low and off the mark. 2-1. And so now the way this inning is unfolded, 2-1. Rajai Davis is sitting there. He could sit and keyhole him and say it's got to be fat and right down the middle, or I'm not swinging.
Well, this is the 9th man to the plate, and this is probably the last man if he doesn't get him out in this inning.
Vance Worley trying to get loose as quickly as he can for Baltimore. I think he's close, though, to getting ready. He does throw a strike here to even the count of 2-2.
Like you say, it's not one he liked. It was something. Let's check it out on our Nissan pitch tracker. It looks like it was down and away. That's not one you want to swing at as a hitter. And and it was down in the zone.
First and third, 2 down. Runner at first breaks, and the pitch is low. And it's the 3rd stolen base of the inning as Chisenhall goes in standing. And it's a full count for Rajai Davis.
Yeah, well, you know you can run on him too, because he, with that long delivery.
And the payoff pitch is how he called it a strike, and a gift gets Ubaldo Jimenez out of the inning. But the Indians strike for a 4 spot here in the first. A whiff by Alvarez, and the Indians pounce. Second inning. Mark Trumbo will lead it off for Baltimore. And straightens him up with a fastball inside. Fastball finds the zone. 1-1. Mark Trumbo, Todd Frazier, they each homered last night. They share the top spot in the league. Ball smoked deep center field. Rajai gonna watch it go and hit off the wall. And he makes a good strong throw to the cutoff man, but in safely with a leadoff double is Mark Trumbo. That's his 6th double of the season.
That was just a vicious line drive off the bat of Mark Trumbo, and that was a line drive to straightaway center. And Rajai played it very well, realizing that ball's going to be over his head. Play the carom. He played the ball beautifully. Trumbo he made him hustle to get in. Off the one hop, he turns and throws, but that's a long way out there. But well played. So the leadoff double and Baltimore's first hit this afternoon for Trumbo. That's his 6th double.
Now Matt Wieters, the Baltimore catcher. And he socks one to center field. Rajai has that played perfectly. 1 down. Let's go down to Andre with more on Indian starter Danny Salazar.
One of the words we've used for Danny Salazar this year is maturity, and one of the steps he's taken is paying attention more to other power pitchers. He said this week he really enjoyed going to Chicago and watching Quintana and Sale pitch and how he attacked other guys. He says he watches Kluber and the guys on his staff, but he's getting to the point where he's watching other guys, whether it's David Price in Boston or whether it's those guys in Chicago, and sees how they're set up hitters that he'll have to go against. He says in the past he never paid attention to what the other guys were doing.
You know, why wouldn't you watch the best when you see a great pitcher, you know, that's opposing your team that night? Boy, that you can learn something every day at a baseball game if you sit and pay attention.
Well, I offer you this in explanation. When you have the gift that Danny has, when it comes easy, sometimes all that other stuff you don't know. Why do you need all that? I just throw it by him. You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly.
And then all of a sudden you get to the big leagues, and maybe now you take a step back and say, "Whoa, maybe I do need to check those scouting reports and watch what other guys do."
You want to make yourself better, and he's been blessed with being able to throw that ball as hard as he can, and blessed with a great arm. What would you give to see Tomlin with that arm? The way he works and the way he thinks. I mean, that's the whole point. Sometimes you don't have to work for it to be good, but to become better and become the best, you certainly do.
Well, I think that's when you get into the conversation of what makes Jim Palmer a Hall of Famer as opposed to guys that he pitched with, which were good but not Hall of Famers.
Well, the good ones want to be great.
Exactly. Swung on and missed as Jonathan Scope comes up empty, and there's an inner drive and a determination that they're just not going to give in.
There's a little breaking ball away from Scope.
And Yan Gomes says, hey, when Danny Salazar wants to just chuck it by you, hey, there's nobody that can hold a candle to him. And he made Scope look bad in that at bat. Second strikeout for Danny, 2 down. I mean, this is an Indian staff that when you just look at the pure stuff on the Circle K strikeout era of Corey Kluber, who has tremendous ability and already a Cy Young Award winner. Carlos Carrasco, who hopefully we're going to see him back soon. His stuff is filthy at times, just in terms of pure stuff.
Right.
And then you added Danny Salazar into that mix. And Trevor Bauer, who's starting to figure some things out. I mean,
Josh Tomlin, let's not forget him.
Yeah, these guys have.
They've got very good starting pitching. And you know, you're not sneaking up on anybody because other teams know it. They know they're coming to town.
Pedro Alvarez getting a start at third base today, hitting just 192 with 3 homers, 11 driven in.
Well, it's funny you say that because when I was having a conversation with Jim Palmer today, he was looking forward to watching Danny Salazar pitch because a great Hall of Fame pitcher, as you say, but he hears the rumors how he can throw his changeup. He talks to the hitting coach on their team, the pitching coaches, and they certainly want to watch people that they hear are very, very good pitch, just like we do.
The 1-1 pulls it foul.
I remember there he is. Still at it, still going strong at 70, huh? Looks great. Loves a game of baseball.
I mean, he loves it. He's into it. I mean,
he's got stories.
He's down on the field. He's talking to people all the time.
I think he talks in his sleep. I really do.
Here's a 1-2. They have to unplug him at night. Down and into the seats.
No, he doesn't sleep. I remember when Alvarez was with the Pirates coming up, and it was right after the All-Star break. Remember the series he had? Yeah, I think he had about 4 home runs. It got him rolling at that point. I think it was right after the All-Star break.
You know, as much of a mystery as Ubaldo Jimenez has been in his career, I think this guy falls in the same category. The power's there. Pittsburgh thought he was going to be a cornerstone franchise type player, but he just never really fully developed into the player they thought he was going to be.
Right.
With the shift on, Kipnis from the outfield grass will throw him out. And the inning is over. Leadoff double does no damage. 4-0 Cleveland, middle of the second. Santana will lead it off. He singled to start the game and came around to score the first of 4 for the Indians in the opening frame. In that first inning, Ubaldo Jimenez made 35 pitches. 19 of those were balls. He had 2 full counts. And only 3 out of 9 first pitch strikes, so make it 3 out of 10. And a big bouncer to first, backhanded by Davis. And a quick out here in the second.
Well, Indians baseball is live with MLB.com at Bat app. You can stay connected all season with radio broadcasts, video highlights, stats, news, and more. Download the MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your smartphone and tablet.
Jason Kipnis sends a fly ball to center field, routine for Adam Jones. 2 quick outs. Here's our great clip of the game from last night. Francisco Lindor trying to bring the Indians back late with a solo shot, made it 6-4. They would load the bases, but couldn't get the big hit to bring them all the way back, and Baltimore prevailed with the win.
Now, right now, Ubaldo's trying to do the same thing that Trevor Bauer did last night. He's going to have to throw zeros on the board in hopes that his offense can, you know, maybe get to Danny Salazar. He cannot afford to let him get any more runs.
He hung one there, and Lindor laced it right back up the middle. Sure if that was a curveball.
Yeah, I think it was high curveball.
Yeah,
I mean that started above the umpire's mask. Came back down, and Lindor gets his first knock of the day.
And a 2-out situation for Mike Napoli. It was Napoli's chopper to first, or to third, in the first. That get by Alvarez. He was charged with an error. Napoli did pick up an RBI, giving him 32 on the year. Throws it in the dirt. Nice job by Davis to pick it. I tell you what, if the throw's on the money, I think Lindor was out.
No question. No question about it. See, Davis couldn't apply the tag because it was a short hop and his glove was going up. And Lindor was going to second base for the stolen base, but by the time he could apply the tag, he had his hand on the base. They already have 3 stolen bases, so they feel they can run at will.
There's the throw, and not in time.
Make it 4.
Throw hopped in there. If Wieters makes a little bit of a better throw, they might have had him, but Lindor with his 10th stolen base.
But you see, that's the whole thing. You have to do everything perfect, you know, with that throw. Even though it's short hops, that defender has to wait a little bit, make sure he catches the ball before he can apply the tag. It was really close, but he did get the hand in. Number 10 for Frankie on the year.
And it's up high, 1-2.
On the year, opposition 11 for 13 stealing bases against Ubaldo.
But that's what the Indians were already today.
No, they're 4 for 4.
Napoli fouls one back. He's driven in 21 runs, and this is 23rd game this month. He just punched it into left center field. He's got an RBI base hit here. Coming home to score is Lindor, and it's 5-0 Cleveland.
Well, I like that swing and approach by Mike Napoli there with a runner in scoring position. You know, he gives in. He looked like he was just trying to put it in play. Watch this short swing. Just kept it back, didn't try to pull. Got the foot down. He reached for it, but he kept his hands back. Hit a little soft line drive into left center field. Guess what? RBI. Napoli now with his second. Well, they do add on. They get that 5th run.
You know, I wonder, Rick, Ubaldo Jimenez in his last 6 starts, 4 times in those last 6 starts, the Orioles have not scored a single run in support of him. One time they scored him a single run. And the other time they scored 5. That was in the game he pitched well and won. But when he's not pitching well, it probably sucks the life out of you, doesn't it?
They're behind, first of all, probably behind early in the ball game, and they spend 15, 20 minutes out there every inning waiting for him to throw strikes and let him put it in play.
Baltimore bullpen, by the way, back up and working.
You know, this is something. It does. It sucks the life out of a team when you go out there and you see that every day. If you're not throwing strikes, you can become disinterested out there, and they're seeing it time and time again. He hasn't won on the road in 3 starts.
He just walked Ramirez
well,
on 4
he's got to
pitches,
be gone
and that's
now.
it.
I was going to say it's just a matter of how much longer Buck can watch this.
No, Buck can't watch anymore.
I don't blame him.
Don Cheedy has Vance Worley ready in the bullpen, and that's where Showalter will make the wave to eventually. He hasn't officially made that move, but you have to imagine he's not going out there just to chat. And that's going to be it for Ubaldo. He goes an inning and 2/3 here this afternoon as the Indians knock him out with 5 runs on the board. And the Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen is made for Vance Worley. The right-hander is coming on when we come back.
$12 and under with the purchase of an adult ticket. The tickets are located in the family deck out here at Progressive Field and are available only at Indians.com.
Vance Worley with his 4th different organization since he was originally drafted by Philadelphia in '08. And he's coming on out of the bullpen to face Juan Uribe with 2 on and 2 out here in the 2nd inning. The Orioles claimed Worley off waivers from Pittsburgh this past offseason. And the pitch is high, ball 1. got in on his hands, but it's blooped into center field, and it's going to drop. Coming around third and scoring is Mike Napoli. On his way to third is Jose Ramirez, and it's 6-0 Cleveland.
Well, Uribe needed one of those because he's been hitting a lot of line drives at people in this one. They say they even out. I still don't believe it, but he could certainly use it. It comes with an RBI as well. It jammed him. He muscles it off. Scope goes out there to try and make a nice running catch. Just can't get to it. So they get another run. They add on. It's a 6-0 ball game.
Gomes fouls one over towards the Indians dugout. Ground ball, routine bounce to the short, and that'll end the inning. But the Indians strike for 2 more. They knock Ubaldo Jimenez out of the game, and they lead it 6-0. Later in the game for Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. I would imagine that beer sales are probably at the best they've been all season long.
I would think so. As warm as it is, that ice cream. There's a lot going on.
Joey Rickard will lead it off here. The only thing that might keep beer sales down a little bit is people are still recuperating from a long night of celebrating the Cavaliers winning the Eastern Conference Championship, another berth in the NBA Finals.
Yeah, congratulations to the Cavs.
To Dan Gilbert and the entire Cavs organization, Tyronn Lue. LeBron and the gang will go for the championship against Oklahoma City or Golden State. We'll see tonight.
And that game's tonight. If Oklahoma City wins, then it'll start right here on Thursday in Cleveland. And if the Warriors can win the next 2, then the Cavs will go out there.
0-2 pitch to Rickard, and he pops it up. Napoli near the bag. 1 away. The injury report today is brought to you by the attorneys at Elk & Elk. And for Arizona, they lose a couple of pitchers, Shelby Miller and Ruby De La Rosa. Miller really struggling this year. We talked about Ubaldo. Look at Shelby Miller's numbers on the year.
Yeah, I mean, he was a little more competitive last year, but he had 17 losses. But boy, he is. They thought they were getting a gem in that one. They gave up a lot to acquire him, if you remember. A lot of people were saying, okay, they signed Greinke and they got Miller. Here you go. Here's your ticket to the playoffs. You see how that's working out. They got, I think, one of the worst home records of any team in baseball.
7-18. Here's a chopper to third. Uribe near the bag. Long throw and a great job by both Uribe and Napoli to execute the play. 2 down. Uribe off balance, but he threw it on target. Napoli just had to, well, make the catch on the hop.
Didn't we talk about this last night with Johnny Mac?
Yeah.
You give him a good one-hop throw, make it accurate, makes it much easier for that guy. You know, instead of throwing it all the way in the air, boy, that ball, nice true hop. Napoli picks it, saves it.
You know, Scott Atchison was out here, as he does before every day during early work when guys are taking their ground balls. He'll go over to first base and just take the throws. And he said Juan Uribe has absolutely destroyed his hand.
Yeah, he's got it. He always has.
He said he throws a bowling ball over there to first base. Well, and he said, you know, guys probably made, who knows, 50,000 throws from third base in his lifetime.
He used to be a shortstop.
And that's what he was saying. He goes, he can throw from every angle, and it's always right there, bang, right there.
Well, we got to tell Atch, and if you're listening, that's what hitters feel like with some of you pitchers. You know, when they throw those little sinkers down and away.
Now the 2-0, and Kim takes grounded out to first base. It's only time up. First Korean-born player to don the Orioles uniform.
Well, that's the guy that doesn't like to strike out, but he did last night.
Got him once.
They got him once.
That was only the 4th time in, what, 39, 40
yeah,
at-bats.
He's like an old school baseball player, and that's where he grew up. Over in Korea, they want to put it in play. That would have been a tough one to put in play.
Luckily for him, he didn't have to swing at it. But now with 2 strikes, he'll go into protect mode. And he grounds one up the middle. Backhanded by Kipnis. Off balance throw. Got him. A fine defensive effort by the Indians' second baseman, Jason Kipnis. And that ends the inning. So the Tribe flashing some leather here in the 3rd, and the O's go 1-2-3. This afternoon, Danny Salazar appreciating the effort from his defense this afternoon. Juan Uribe, Jason Kipnis making a couple of terrific plays. Mike Napoli in on the act as well. They go to work offensively here in the third with Lonnie Chisenhall leading it off. Vance Worley, who came on in relief in the second. Gave up an RBI hit, then got Yan Gomes to bounce out to end the inning. Line drive, base hit, left field. Over to cut it off is Young-Soo Kim. He makes a strong throw to second. And Chisenhall beats the tag for a leadoff double. And he got smoked, I think, on the tag attempt by Jonathan Scope.
Well, that can happen when you go in head first, but he hustled his way. And a good time to try. You're up 6 runs. So he's going to challenge the arm of Kim, and let's watch the tag. Scope comes down and puts it in there. I don't know if his see if he hit his knee.
Got him right in the face.
Oh yeah, the sidearm came in. It wasn't the glove per se, then it was his arm swiping sideways, and it comes up and knocks the helmet off, catches him in the side of the jaw.
Well, Lonnie's 2 for 2, and up comes Rajay Davis. Now, Vance Worley, you forget, Rick, just 2 years ago, he was a starter. He made 17 starts for the Pirates 2 years ago and had an 8-4 mark with a 2.85 ERA. Before that, he was a starter with the Twins. Before that, with the Phillies. Upstairs, he missed.
Yeah, well, he's their long man this year. He's one guy that's gone 16 innings without allowing a run. But you know, as a former starter, you get that long man, maybe not quite good enough to stay in that rotation. Nice swing.
Base hit right field for Rajay Davis. Chisenhall will be held up. Ricker got off a pretty good throw. And Indians at the corners with nobody out here in the third.
That's a nice swing and a nice approach there by Rajay to at least get him over. He got the bonus with the base hit. And they just didn't want to try sending Chisenhall there. He stayed back on it, slaps it the other way. Rickert comes up, and he has a pretty good arm. So Mike Sarbaugh is just going to hold up Chisenhall. Nobody out in this inning. Already the Indians with 8 hits. They've already hit around twice in their lineup, and we are in just starting the third inning.
Yeah, I mean, third inning, your leadoff man is batting for the third time.
And their leadoff man hit for the second time last inning. So they have sent a number of men to the plate.
Santana looks at a ball outside.
I want to send along a very happy birthday wish to Blair DePace. Turning 20 today, out enjoying a Tribe game, and she's a huge Tribe fan, so happy birthday.
Birthday, Blair. 1-0 pitch. That's in there for a strike. The ebbs and flows of a major league season. Santana looked like he was starting to get hot, and then last 6 games, just 3 for his last 23. And a double play ball up to second. There's 1 and 2. Run scores on the play to make it 7-0. As Chisenhall crosses the dish.
Well, they'll get the run in, but no RBI to Santana on the double play ball. But
Jason Kipnis will bat here. Walked and scored in the first, flied out of the second. Chicago beating the stuffing out of Kansas City today, 7-1. They're in the 9th inning at Kauffman Stadium. After the Royals came back and sent the Sox to their 4th straight loss last night. That kept the Indians just a half game out in the AL Central. Royals started the day a game back. Detroit just 2 games off the pace. Strike 3 called. That'll do it. And after 3, it's now Cleveland 7, Baltimore 0. Here at the ballpark as the Indians are clobbering Baltimore to this point 7-0, but a long way to go in this game. Fourth inning.
Long way to go, but Danny Salazar's got to love the way it's going for him right now.
Gotta love that kind of run
You know,
support.
he averages 6.46 runs for 9 innings, so he's loving it.
They've averaged in that much support this year?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Sometimes it's not how, it's when.
Well, of course, yeah, the Cincinnati game 13-1. That'll
Yeah,
help.
I mean, you know, a couple of games you're going to have some blowouts. They have a chance to do the same thing here, the way it's going.
Yeah, that start against Kansas City where they were up 7-0. His first start of the year against the White Sox, they were up 7-1.
Yeah, well, there you have it.
Yeah.
You know, you get 4 or 5 starts like that, it's awfully nice. You can go out there, relax a little bit, and work on your game.
Hit to left. Back is Ramirez. He's going to look up, and it's going to be off the wall. Plays it well. Here's a good throw to second base, but beating the tag in there is Manny Machado with a double.
I'll tell you what,
his 5th hit in the series.
Machado, but I mean, he's got easy swing. He can generate some bat speed. Gets another double, his 3rd of the series. And watch, it's a breaking ball from Danny, and he keeps his hands back, gets the barrel out front, and it goes off the wall. So he's been off the wall in right center, left center, and now left field in this series. That's 5 hits for him.
Doink. Yeah, Rick, I mentioned it in the open, and Manny Machado, he's been around for a while, but he still is a month away from turning 24.
Well, you know, how many times this year we talked about the great young players in the game? I don't think people realize this guy's still 20, like you say, 23 right now. He's playing, he moved from third base to shortstop to help the team. But this guy has been there. He was up when he was 20 years old.
Yeah, a month after his 20th birthday.
Yeah.
He would, you know,
full year.
Would have been 19 years old if they'd have called him up a month earlier.
Yeah, and then blew his knee out. But I'll tell you what, this kid is something special. He's going to be around for a long time, and he is one of the better players in the game of baseball, without a doubt.
Yeah, guys like Machado, and I think you can put Francisco Lindor into that same category. The guy down in Houston, Carlos Correa.
Bogarts, don't forget him.
Oh yeah, Xander
Don't
Bogaerts.
forget him.
They just have a way of, the game looks slow for them. I mean,
Well,
it just looks like it's easy.
They're talented. They're very special. They're fun to watch. Those two will be carrying on conversations for many years to come. Salazar was able to get Davis his first time up on a called strikeout. And, you know, he may have caught a break on the call, but we'll see what happens here.
The 3-2. Pulled foul. Oh, what did that hit?
Camera, I think. They've got somebody over there.
Did it get that little camera right on the corner?
Yeah, I think so.
Might have dented it. And they're going to take a look at it.
Yeah, those things are expensive.
Did it break the glass?
But I think he can afford it.
No worse for the wear, apparently.
I've got a camera up here you guys can use if it's broke. It's a RoboCam. You can look everywhere.
Come on, spin it around and put it on him. Swung on and missed. Davis down on strikes for the 2nd time today, as Danny gets strikeout number 3 in the afternoon.
Looked like he elevated it a little bit to Davis, and then Davis loves that ball down. You'll see the 3-2 pitch. It's upstairs, and that's tough to catch up. And I think Davis upset with himself that he swung at that pitch. But a good pitch by Salazar gets the strikeout and out number 1 of the inning.
Now to bring up Mark Trumbo, who doubled off the wall in center field his first time up. Foul tipped it into the glove of Gomes. 1-1. I think that cloud cover came at just the right time for some of the folks here today. Taking the edge off a hot Saturday afternoon. Here's the 1-1. Swung out and missed downstairs.
There you go. Now you can expand it. Now you can expand the big man's strike zone. You know, when you throw a pitch like that and he swings at that changeup, you can go 2 ways. You can elevate the fastball. You could go right back to that same changeup and see if he chases it again. Or you can set up the pitch you want to try and get him out with. Brushing him off the plate. You can do whatever you want.
Swung on and missed. Good off speed pitch by Salazar. That's the 4th strikeout for him today. Back-to-back Ks here in the inning.
Came back with a changeup, and it was up and in.
Now here's our stat of the game. It's brought to you by Buick. Coming into today, look at these 2 guys and how they stack up.
Yeah, it's special, and they're only 1 hit away from in multi-hit games too. I think Machado leads Lindor by 1. But I mean, you talk about similar numbers. We showed Bogarts in Boston when these 2 were there. We showed Correa when we were in Houston. I mean, baseball's in pretty good hands with a lot of great young players.
I just didn't realize, Rick, until I was looking at it, reading this morning. I didn't realize he hit 35 home runs last year. I mean, I know Baltimore, that park can play small, but that's a bunch of bombs.
Yeah, small park, that doesn't matter. 35's 35.
This guy can hit him a long way too, but Matt Wieters flying out to center his first time up. Switch hitter.
Baltimore 2nd in the American League in home runs with 67, and we talked about it before. Believe it or not, the team leading the league is Tampa Bay. They have 1 more at 68.
Rays came into today having lost 3 in a row, falling to last place in the AL East. But in the AL East right now, it's so tightly packed. One bad week, you could go from 2nd to last in a hurry.
Well, that's how it was. They had about 4 of their teams that were 500 or better, and then it switched over to the Central Division. And that's what the Central has now, 4 teams at least over 500.
By the way, Tampa Bay leading New York 5-1 this afternoon. The Yankees began the day game under 500.
Well, you said last night, Baltimore already 17 games against the Central Division this year, and you know that's you know they played more against the Central Division than they have in their own division. They played 14 games in their own division. They played 17 against the Central.
Popped up, foul ground. Is it playable? Gomes can't quite get to it.
Yeah, I don't know if he was able to pick it up right off the bat. Not that it was hit that high, because he was fooled by the pitch, the changeup. Tough for a catcher to get that mask and pick it up and know it's right behind you when he takes a swing. It was good effort by Yan to get over there. Makes the slide, but he misses it by a foot or 2.
Royals are trying to do it to the White Sox again. They've scored 5 times in the bottom of the 9th.
Oh my goodness.
It's a 1-run game. The tying runs at second base.
It was 7-1, wasn't it?
7-1 going into the bottom of the 9th.
They were able to come back, and they got him yesterday. Came back and got the White Sox late.
Robertson has been yanked from the game as the closer, and Canley's trying to close it out now for Chicago.
That's what's been their problem, is their bullpen. That was so good earlier.
Now the 0-2. Ground ball right at Kipnis. He'll throw out Wieters. And the inning is over. Danny Salazar punches out a pair here in the fourth, and the Indians are rolling up 7-0. Baseball in the American League East, the Toronto Blue Jays, Josh Donaldson last night, how about a 4-for-5 performance, a couple of home runs, drove in 5, and they had a real barn burner this afternoon with the Boston Red Sox. Toronto winning it by a final score of 10-9. Craig Kimbrell proves to be human after all. He was on in the bottom of the ninth. Toronto tied it and then won it off the Red Sox closer.
Well, he wasn't human when we saw him in Boston on getaway day, I'll tell you that.
It was an infield single that ended the ball game. Ball off the bat of Lindor, and in that bottom of the ninth in Kansas City, Drew Butera, I think that might have been a pinch hit appearance. He doubled the deep center field, scoring Eric Hosmer, and the Royals have come all the way back to tie it at 7. It was 7-1 when the bottom of the ninth began.
Well, that could be Kansas City holds on, or can come back and win that. That could be a crushing blow to Chicago.
Well, you're not kidding. Here's Mike Napoli. He's reached twice. He scored 2 runs. He has 2 RBIs. And outside corner, a called strike. Vance Worley came on in relief of Ubaldo Jimenez in the second inning. He gave up a run in the third. The second baseman scope.
Attaboy.
And there are 2 down here in the fourth.
Well, bring the kids out to Progressive Field on Sundays for KeyBank Kids Fun Day. Kids can run the bases post game thanks to Cleveland Clinic's Children's. Visit Indians.com for the details.
Jose Ramirez has walked twice and scored a run. He grounds one up the middle. Backhanded by Scope. Off balance throw. Got him. And the Indians go 1-2-3 for the first time today. And Scope assists on all 3 putouts. Is brought to you by Levin Furniture. For the best deals on furniture and mattresses, shop Levin's. By your Northern Ohio Honda dealers. And by the Cleveland Clinic. Access anytime, anywhere. Well, it's Cleveland 7, Baltimore nothing. 5th inning. Here at Progressive Field, Indians with 4 in the first, 2 in the second, 1 more in the third. And Danny Salazar has allowed just 2 hits. Has struck out 4. Has only walked 1. That's up the middle, and that's through. Jonathan Scope with a base hit. And Baltimore has their leadoff man aboard for the 3rd time in 5 innings.
Now hitting for the Orioles, number 24, Pedro Alvarez.
Pedro Alvarez, a ground out his first time up. Pitch inside, ball 1. Pedro Alvarez was a first-round pick of the Pirates back in 08 out of Jensen Lewis's beloved Vanderbilt. Pop back out of play. Three years ago, Alvarez hit 36 homers, drove in 100 for the Pirates. And then the very next year, the homers were cut in half. He hit just 18 and drove in 56. Last year hit 27, had 77 RBIs. But the Pirates just felt for the money he was looking for, and he made over $5 million last year with Pittsburgh. Well, they just figured for the money they could do better.
He was a late sign too. I mean,
yeah.
He went deep into the spring before he signed it with Baltimore. I mean, that was a strange offseason for free agents, that's for sure.
Ball smoked to deep right field. Lonnie won't get it.
Yeah,
it goes over the fence for a ground rule double, and Schoop will stop at third.
That thing was a line drive. That one hopped over the wall. So there you see, he has terrific power. And I mean, he didn't elevate this ball, but he put a good swing on it. And that thing, it took about 2 seconds to hit over Chisnall's head and bounce into the seats. So they have runners at second and third with nobody out trying to get on the board now. It's the third double of the afternoon for Baltimore.
And so Joey Rickard, the batter. Throw it by him. Good fastball, 1-1.
In the 5th inning this year, Salazar, that's been his highest ERA of any inning he has been in. He's got a 4.50 ERA. I don't know why, what it matters, but there's runners at second and third, and they have a chance to add to it.
Just missing there, and now it's 3-1.
Yeah, he's got to reel it in now. Got the top of the lineup coming up next. 7 and 8 did their job. They got on base.
And Danny walks him, and all of a sudden Baltimore still got some life here. Bases loaded, nobody out. And let's go catch up with Andre, who's chilling in the district. Well, he was chilling.
We're having a good time out here in the district. Last night after I saw the beer pyramid, I figured I'd come out here and see what was going on. Don't forget, for $13, first drinks on us. Great time, great place to be out here during the game. Memorial Day, we'll be here with a 6:10 start.
All right, is it warm out there, Andre, in that sun?
No, it's cool. It's very cool. Okay. That's why I have the Navy shirt on, so you can't see how hot it really is.
Atta baby. You're always cool.
It's always cool where you're at.
I'm looking for that tango party you had last night.
I got pictures. I'll show you later.
Well, Kansas City won it. 7 runs in the bottom of the 9th.
They had 7. Oh my! They were down 6-1.
7-1.
They scored 7.
7-1 going into the bottom.
Oh
of the
my
9th.
goodness!
Chopper foul, third base side. That might be one of the most demoralizing defeats a team could suffer.
Well, especially after they came back on him yesterday.
Yeah,
and
that's
ended
a good
up
point.
winning it too.
Yeah.
Now, not just. I mean, that was a big. I think it was a 4-run difference yesterday, and they scored 5.
I think, right?
Yeah, and then they ended up scoring 5. Today they go into the 9th and they get their closer and they score 7. You got to be kidding me. That's going to be. That could make a long year between those two teams. Kansas City believing they can get to their bullpen. Boy, oh boy, that's a crushing blow.
And this is a Kansas City team, and we mentioned it yesterday. They're without Mike Moustakas and Alex Gordon.
Well, let's think about it. If the Indians hold on and win, then they'll end up being in first place. In Kansas City, they let me see, they were a game out, so they're tied with Chicago now.
They're a half game behind Cleveland, right?
Yes, exactly. So far on the day, when Danny's had 2 strikes against the Baltimore hitters, 0 for 8.
Fouled out of play.
This is a good job by Jones to get a piece and foul off a nasty pitch. That is, you know, as a hitter, if you can foul off that pitch, that's something special. If he can reach that pitch, I got to gas him inside. That was a nice pitch. Because it's an 0-2 count, you don't have to throw it for a strike.
In the air center field, Rajay Davis has to backpedal a few. That's going to enable Scope to tag and score. The throw goes to third base. It's cut off there though by LINDOR, and smartly Rickard went back to first. So Baltimore's on the board. It's a 7-1 ball game here in the 5th inning. And now the Birds have runners at first and third with 1 out.
Stepping in for the Orioles, number 25, Yan Kim.
Oh my goodness. How about this story though from that game? Sports is crazy sometimes. So not only did the Royals stage one of the most incredible comebacks of the year and one for the ages in a 7-run bottom of the 9th, but they did it without Salvador Perez, who had to be helped off the field in the 9th inning when he ran into rookie Chesler Cuthbert, who was playing third because Moustakas is injured. Perez went down in pain. The trainer, Nick Kenny, Ned Yost, came onto the field, and he had to be helped off.
They're already a mash unit out there.
And it was Drew Butera who came in. And I remember I said I thought he was pinch hitting.
Right.
He was actually batting for the first time because Perez got hurt in the top half of the inning. Yeah, that's, if they lose him for any amount of time, that could really be a tough loss for Kansas City. Strike to Kim.
There we go. Good fastball. You know, you got that ball in the inner part of the plate. Look at that fastball, comes back, perfect pitch.
Now Danny Salazar takes aim on the 1-2 offering. And Kim with a liner, caught by Kipnis, but can't unload the throw to first. And there are 2 down. I'm not sure that Kipnis, the runner Rickard might have been right in his path. And rather than take a chance on throwing one wildly, you just hold on.
Hard to tell, but you know what? You're right. If you don't think you can get him, because Napoli had to jump out of the way with him coming back.
Manny Machado will get a chance to bat now with 2 on and 2 out, and he walked in the first. He doubled in the 4th. This is what you want to try and avoid at all costs, facing Machado, Davis, Trumbo with guys on base. That trio is combined for 38 home runs. And 2 quick strikes for Salazar.
You can see Machado, he doesn't like it. I don't know if it's the call or he didn't like the pitch, you know, for him to swing at. He's saying that ball's inside, and it looked like it was. He was shaking his head.
And now the 0-2 just missed wide.
Yeah, you can't give that one he gave him the last pitch and then call that one.
And that's low, back to even at 2-2. Chop foul, third base side.
At that time of the night now where the shadows are starting to creep on the third base side of the field. You can see the pitcher with the light towers starting to come into the shadow. That's when the sun comes out.
Yeah, that's the good news for the players, is that there's enough cloud cover that it's not quite
bright. Yes, crisp, you know, real bright and sunny.
And now the 2-2. Well, from 0-2 to 3-2. Salazar about to make his 90th pitch of the afternoon. Runner at first goes, and a swing and a miss. He strikes him out to end the inning. Danny took just a little something off, and he strikes out Machado to end the inning. Time very humid, and how about the slider, and look at Machado. Okay, you got me. I gotta get it. I gotta tip my cap to you right there. And Danny acknowledging.
Well, you know, you get him. He guessed wrong, you know, as a hitter, and he was letting them know that. But he'll also let him know if it ever happens and he guesses right, he gets him.
That's a blistered ball. Great stop by Alvarez, and he can't connect with Davis on the other end. The throw short hopped the Orioles first baseman, and he tried to knock it down, but no success. Uribe into second base.
That's where Alvarez maybe should have made it a longer hop. I know but you're panicking. He makes a beautiful play to catch the ball, but I think he tried to throw it all the way there. Didn't give him enough room, and he had something on that throw, and that was a tough play. If you're Davis, you can see that in between hop. You've got the runner bearing down on you. So that is that a hit and an error or just straight error?
What do you got?
Straight error.
Straight error on a diving stop.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a tough scorer right there, huh?
It's a Kegler had a
How
tough
is that
night
a
at the lanes
routine
last
play?
night.
How is that a routine play?
Well, you're going to have to ask him. Second error of the day. And it's Alvarez. And you know what? It's probably because they know he's not a very good third baseman, but
see,
he had to dive. He made a beautiful catch. Dive to get to that ball. Now you would think that if a good fielding third baseman or a guy with a better reputation made that play, that dive, and he throws it, you would probably go hitting an error.
But that's not.
I understand.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure it out. We'll have to wait and talk to him after the game.
If you leave your feet, it's not a routine, ordinary play. I think hitting an error is proper.
Well, you watch it, he's going to his right and makes a beautiful stab at that ball, and he has to rush to get that throw up, and the throw just short hops him. I understand if it was a good throw, he would have been out, but it wasn't a routine play to get to it.
Now the 1-2, and Gomes lashes it into left field. Uribe coming around third, they're going to wave him home. And the throw won't be nearly in time as he sailed it over the cutoff man, Machado, who would have had a better chance at relaying it to the plate. And Gomes has his third RBI in the afternoon. And again, I said it when he came up that first time. He's done a nice job with runners in scoring position.
Well, that's just a bad job by Kim in left field. He misses Machado. And you can see the trailer, Alvarez at third base. That allowed Uribe. And you know what? That's all part of the scouting report when you're Mike Sarbaugh. They know how these guys can throw. And obviously, with the lead, they're going to go ahead and be aggressive. And he scored easily. So give some credit there to Mike Sarbaugh. It's easy to hold the guy up at third and say, hold on, nobody's out or anything like that. But you score him easily. You get your guy an RBI. That's good coaching.
And you get the run right back. Take any momentum they might have had away. Michael Martinez batting for Lonnie Chisenhall here. I don't remember him. He didn't come in defensively, did he?
No. Well, remember he went into second base and got hit in the face that last time, Chiz. So
kind of turned his neck sideways. Yeah, it could have been part of that.
I'm thinking that's probably it.
And he's going to the left center field area. Back is Kim. He'll make the catch here. And that will chase Gomes all the way back to first. One down. Again, we're not sure if this is it, but
I think that's a pretty good guess because he took some time to, I don't know if it was to clear up his eye, if he got hit in the eye, he could see or couldn't see, or it caught him in the jaw. Yeah, he's saying, I can't see. There it is.
He was able to see his way home as he came home in that inning on the double play ball. By the way, Evan Longoria homered for Tampa Bay today. You mentioned before they lead the league in home runs. And they're tattooing Michael Pineda. He can't get Tampa Bay out. They've got his number. He went 3 2/3, 6 runs on 9 hits. Wow. And his ERA for the year is 6.92.
It's amazing. There's quite a few high ERAs out there.
Glancing off the bat of Rajay. Vance Worley has been the definition of a long man here today. Rajay punching it into center field, and there are 2 down. In-game recap brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Mike Napoli blistered one by Alvarez, a third 2-run scored, and the Indians were off and running. Yan Gomes with a 2-run single to right field made it a 4-run first. And then Knapp with an RBI single in the second. They scored 2 more. And it's been pretty much all Indians today, as they now lead at 8-1. The Orioles have opened the 5th with 2 hits and a walk, and looked like they might have a chance to put a rally together, but Salazar quickly squelched it, held it to just the 1 run. And that will end the inning. 5 in the books. It's Cleveland 8, Baltimore 1.
Duffel bag on Memorial Day as the Indians will take on the Texas Rangers. 10,000 fans will receive the bag courtesy of Sherwin-Williams. Visit Indians.com for the tickets.
Michael Martinez staying in the game in right field after he pinch hit for Lonnie Chisenhall. Chris Davis 0 for 2 has struck out twice in the ball game. And Danny Salazar starts him off with a curveball for strike 1. And the 0-1 is popped back out of play. Give you an idea how hot it is here today. Danny Salazar shed some layers. He had a 3/4 length sleeves on last inning. He's taking those off. I think more than anything, Rick, it's just we haven't had humidity. This is the first day of the year where it's been really, you could say, humid.
No question. Well, last night was too.
Watch last inning, the last pitch, he had the sleeves when he got Machado on the little slider. Slider, changeup, I don't know. Might have been a changeup.
Yeah.
You know.
Sometimes it is tough with Salazar to tell what he's throwing.
Nice play behind the bag. Napoli will take it himself. And there's one away.
Stepping to the plate for the Orioles, designated hitter.
That'll bring up Mark Trumbo with one down and the base is empty. Indians bullpen is quiet, but you would have to imagine this will be the last inning for Salazar as he closes in on 100 pitches. What a nice pitch. Trumbo not going to swing at that first pitch, and it dances in for a strike. Spiked that one in the dirt.
You know, he came, that first pitch was a slider, and it was a beautiful slider. He tried to make that one a lot better, and you know, he bounced it instead of just nice and relaxed and throw it again. You try and make it better sometimes when you're a pitcher, and you overthrow it.
And that one, you could just see he went right back. He looked like he talked to himself, and he went right back nice and easy. And that one he had him swinging at, fouled it off.
Yeah, and it was located well too, down in the zone.
And then that fastball blistering, but outside.
Yeah, he's showing him a big fastball right there.
Now does he go back changeup?
Well, go change it, go back to that breaking ball. And
Slider it is. He got down and in and foul.
No, that was fair.
They called that fair?
It was a line drive. I mean, that ball was a tracer. It didn't have time to hook.
My eyes deceived me. I thought that was well foul.
You watch Matt.
Terry Francona's on the top step of the dugout.
Well, they want to look because they thought it was foul. I thought that thing.
Terry
was
says, "Hey, let's take a look at this."
Okay, well then they got a better shot at it. When I came down, we'll see. Watch it and keep a close eye on it. It's a fair ball. That hit the yellow line.
Where does it hit though?
The yellow line.
I got it hitting left of the yellow.
I don't know if there's any room left of the yellow unless it's.
Oh, I got you.
You know,
I got you. Yep.
There's no room, or as it gets into those. I think that's going to stand. It was right on the yellow line. I mean, that ball.
I didn't see it hit the top part.
It did not hook. I'll tell you that, because it was. He made a little mistake with that pitch.
See, when I saw it coming down, I thought it had hit below the yellow line on the foul side of that wall. I didn't see it hit above there. But you're right, it caught the top part of that line.
Yeah, get out of the way. You got to let him get loose. I don't think there's any foul territory after that line unless it's out of play. You know what I'm saying? That's the only reason why I'm thinking it was fair.
Yeah, if it hits the railing, it's foul.
Yes, correct.
But it didn't. It hit
No,
right
it came
on
straight
the
back in. That shouldn't be too hard to see.
Yep, they got it.
Let's go, fellas. Yeah, it's a fair ball.
Good eyes, Hawkeye. I mean, it's a good challenge though, because I didn't see it initially. I thought it was foul. I mean, unless you really slow it down and break it down, it's hard to see, and once you pointed it out. And then now I see where it hit.
And yeah, it comes right back down. You know what? It would have been tougher for us if we were in our old booth over there. This would have never seen. No, it gave me a great shot at it. Great angle.
And after review, the previous play.
Yeah.
So, runner at second base.
Call stands.
1 out. And Matt Wieters, the batter, who is 0 for 2. Wieters tried to go the same way. And Ramirez back to the wall, is going to have to play it off the wall, but he got pinned up against the wall, and Trumbo scores easily, and Wieters rolls into second base with a double. Back-to-back doubles for Baltimore, and they've plated their second run of the game, and it's now 8-2.
Well, you have to think that Salazar's tiring right now in this heat because they took him that way, and that's where Ramirez made a mistake. He pinned himself up against the wall knowing he really didn't have a chance to catch that ball. And the Trumbo hit was the first hit that Salazar's given up when he had 2 strikes. So it's back-to-back doubles. They have 5 doubles on the day, and it's an 8-2 ball game.
Tommy Hunter getting loose in the pen. It won't take long in a day like this, boy, I'll tell you that much. About 3 pitches, like, okay, I'm ready. Line to third, caught by Uribe. 2 down. Juan was looking to second base, and Kipnis put up the stop sign like, don't throw it, I'm not there. And the runner's back too quickly anyway. But he was ready.
Yeah, he didn't get off. There's no way he can make a throw.
Now Pedro Alvarez, he lined a double to deep right his last time up. Kind of brought back memories for a moment, as you pointed out earlier, that series he had several years back with the Pirates. He launched a few balls to deep right field.
That one, I mean, he hit the line drive, he just didn't get underneath it.
Pounces on it quickly. Tigers A's tied 3-3. They're in the bottom of the 6th in the Motor City. Oakland had taken a 3-1 lead, then Victor Martinez hit a 2-run homer to tie it. Down and in, he missed. 3-1. Tampa Bay has now opened up a 9-1 lead on the Yankees down at St. Pete. And a ground ball. Diving stop by Kipnis, gets up and throws him out to end the inning. Really fine defensive play by Jason Kipnis, diving to his left out onto the outfield grass, and he steals a hit and an RBI away from Alvarez and the O's. inning here at Progressive Field. Danny Salazar. He went 6, 107 pitches. His day is over. He's in line for the victory. And here in the bottom of the 6th, Vance Worley still on for Baltimore. He's worked 3 1/3 innings in relief so far. Jason Kipnis is 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored.
Yeah, they've been able to get a couple of runs off Worley. You know, that's tough to do when your starter gives up a lot of runs early. Boy, as a bullpen, if you have to really hold them, but if you give up any more, it's tough to come back when you're a team, and they've only been able to put a couple of 1-run innings together.
Did not go. Whoop toward left center field, and Adam Jones glides under it, 1 away. Tune into the Golf Zone, where our PGA pro Jimmy Hanley shows you terrific tips to improve your game and talks about this weekend's PGA events. Inside the Golf Zone with Jimmy Hanlon, presented by American Eagle Mortgage and Varmint Guard, Sundays at 8 on Fox Sports Ohio. Officially, Lonnie Chisenhall left the game with blurred vision for precautionary reasons. So when we read his lips when he was at second base and said, I can't see. Oh, that's blurred vision then. You can't see, you can't play baseball. Not at this level. Francisco Lindor 1 for 3, singled, stole a base, and scored back in the 2nd. I remember years ago, I went to an event and covered a baseball game. People who were blind, they play with a ball that has
the beeper
ball.
Right.
And they had a ball. They were doing great.
Yep, I've seen that, and they've had games on major league fields before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's really something.
Yeah.
You go by sound, and you hear that beep. It's incredible.
8-2, the Indians with 4 in the first, 2 in the second, 1 in the third, 1 in the fifth. Lindor fouling it back out of play. We understand that there are some strong storms in some of the western suburbs out in Elyria and Lorraine, but it's been dry downtown, warm, humid, but no precipitation as Lindor draws a 1-out walk. You know what? That's impressive. When you got a guy coming out of the bullpen, you want a guy that's going to throw strikes. That's the first walk he's
I know.
issued.
Yes, it is. I mean, he's thrown 53 pitches. 38 of them have been strikes. You know, so, and he's trying to do his team a service and save that bullpen.
Well, he's done a marvelous job where that's concerned. Bullpen getting busy now for Baltimore.
When you think about it, Wright only went 4 2/3 innings last night.
Yeah.
You know, so that bullpen had to eat some innings. So today, his job is to come on and really save it. You know, in what you'd call a rout right now, an 8-2 ball game. So you don't have to use very many guys, and he's done a good job.
Michael Gibbons getting loose now. He was up in last night's game, but did not get into the contest. Yeah, they used 4 relievers last night. Here's some rumbles of thunder off to the west. Here's the 0-2 now to Mike Napoli, and he takes it inside. A ball and 2 strikes. No home runs, but Oakland has come back and scored 4 times in the 6th inning. And they lead Detroit now 7-3.
6th inning, yeah, long way to go out there. I feel that wind starting to pick up a little bit in here and circulate this ballpark.
Napoli chases one and strikes out, 2 down. Second strikeout for Vance Worley. And Ramirez grounds one up the middle. Nice backhanded play by Scope, and the inning is over. 6 in the books. It's Cleveland 8, Baltimore 2. Indians baseball is brought to you by the injury lawyers at Elk & Elk, proud partner of the Cleveland Indians. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. And by Ford, built Ford tough. Back here at Progressive Field, 7th inning, and the new Indians pitcher will be Tommy Hunter.
Hunter coming on for the 10th time. 1-1, 2.08 ERA in his 8 2/3 innings. 3 strikeouts, 1 walk. So Salazar 6 innings, 6 hits, gave up a couple of runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. So the early run support certainly helped Danny.
Tommy Hunter fires, and Joey Rickard takes a strike. Rickard popped up in the 3rd inning, walked in the 5th. Tommy Hunter began his career with Texas, but he spent the better part of 5 seasons with Baltimore. So I'm sure there's some feelings of motivation for Hunter facing his old club here.
Sure, anytime you get an opportunity to face your former club, you certainly want to do well.
a strike call to run the count full to Joey Rickard. Adam Jones waiting on deck. And he walks him ball 4. Well, that goes to the top of the order, and Adam Jones, who hadn't batted leadoff this season before this series began, but he had batted leadoff a handful of times earlier in his career. Let's get on to Andre. How does that change the dynamic in the lineup, and what does that do for Jones?
Well, here from Buck Showalter, he says he had 4 options, and this one worked best for him. And he just talked about, you can only do it with good players that you trust. He trusts Adam Jones to give him the best that he has, so he placed him there. Also, Machado moved from second to third, and they think long term that may be the best spot for Machado. So they said with all the strikeouts they had in the last series, why not try now?
Well, and I suppose, Andre, it makes sense the way Kim was swinging the bat too, because he could put him in that number 2 hole. But how well does that work long term? Nobody knows, I guess.
No, you're right though. He puts the bat on the ball and can move these guys. You all know the ballpark they play in. They're trying to see a way to generate as many runs as they can with the best players they have. So Showalter said, I'm going to put these guys in, my top 4 guys this way and see if it works.
Well, I like the thought that Machado hits third, and Adam Jones is a good enough hitter. He's been in that 3 hole for a long time, but he's a good enough player. He can hit anywhere. He's just a heck of a player. And Baltimore, you look at their record at home, 17-8.
Yeah.
I mean, they play very well in their home ballpark. Now, I don't know if you'd want to leave this guy in that leadoff spot because he can drive in some runs, but they've got some big boys that can drive them in. When you look at Davis and Trumbo down there,
somebody's got to get on for him too.
Yeah, you've got to have somebody that has a good on-base percentage.
That's drilled to left center field. That's hit hard, and it's going to be off the wall. Coming around third base, Joey Rickard. He's going to score, and in the second with an RBI double is Adam Jones. And now it's an 8-3 ball game.
Well, not the way you wanted to start out the walk, and then you get a double off the slider. Off Hunter, you check it out. There it is, breaking ball, and it's Adam Jones just hits it hard to left center field. That's 6 doubles now on the afternoon for Baltimore. These guys, they're not going to quit. They're going to continue to come at you with everything. So you got to make them hit their way on. They have 7 hits, 6 of them have doubles. They have the 1 single. So you don't want to give them any free base runners, and Tommy did that with the leadoff walk.
And this is a problem for teams that play Baltimore. From the 7th inning on, they've outscored their opponents by over 30 runs this year. And that's another base hit.
Jones will not score on that. He'll just move up a base. But still, the first 3 reach, and you're into the middle part of that lineup now. 1 swing of the bat, and they can bring themselves right back into the game. He takes it the other way.
Manny Machado coming to the plate. Ball 1 outside. See some of those dark clouds off to the west. But still a beautiful afternoon here at the yard. And this isn't going well. 2-0.
This is one, and the Orioles, they know how Hunter likes to pitch and what he features whenever you play behind a guy that you played with for 4 or 5 years.
Ryan Shaw is up in the bullpen. Just missing outside, but it's 3-1. This is what we talked about early in the game. Ubaldo was pitching from behind. He got himself in trouble and could not get out of it. To short. Lindor goes to second. There's one. KIPNIS on the first. A double play. The Orioles get a run, but Tommy Hunter gets the double play just in the nick of time.
Boy, they needed that badly. And Lindor comes up and gets it on that high hop and gets it over to KIPNIS in plenty of time, and they turn it. Baltimore gets the run, makes it. They cut the lead in half. It's 8-4, but boy, they stop a big inning. I mean, a real big one, possibility-wise.
Yeah, and Chris Davis bats now with the bases empty and 2 down. And a foul right back. Here's an interesting one for you, Rick. Dennis Lin, who writes for the San Diego Union Tribune, says that the White Sox are in heavy discussions with the Padres to get James Shields. He reports discussions have gained, quote, significant momentum. Just beyond the reach of KIPNIS and into right field, a 2-out single for Chris Davis.
Well, that makes sense because when I'd say 10 days, 2 weeks ago, Rick Hahn, the GM for the White Sox, says we're looking for a deal. We're looking to make one as soon as possible. We don't want to wait for the deadline, and they're looking at a starting pitcher. It doesn't surprise me.
Now, James Shields at one time would have been considered one of the guys you go get. You know, is he still the same front of the rotation starter? I'm not sure, but it'll be interesting to see how that story works its way out. Here at Progressive Field, still a ball game as the Orioles have a runner at first with 2 down in the 7th, down 4. And Terry Francona is going to Brian Shaw here in the 7th. Converge on the United States for the 100th anniversary of one of the world's biggest tournaments. Coverage begins Friday across the networks of Fox Sports. Brian Shaw into the ball game with 2 outs in the 7th inning and a runner at first. Mark Trumbo will be the batter. And now it'll be Shaw against Mark Trumbo, who has doubled twice and scored a run. And that wind has really picked up. It is blowing out toward right field. So anything lifted in the air that direction is probably going to get a little bit of a boost.
Yeah, well, we showed it earlier. The flags. There was no air, nothing moving. But it's hot and humid. Storms are around, no question.
Down low. 2 balls, no strikes. bullseye. Breaking ball hit back towards us, but down below it goes. Two balls, two strikes, two outs. And they're a full count. Slowly chopped to third. That's foul.
You know, that's a tough situation there with the Indians. They have an 8-2 lead coming into the 7th inning, and if you're Terry Francona, you want to go to that bullpen, you know, before you get to your Shaws and Allens, and they can't get 3 outs in that 7th inning. That bridge has been tough for him to fill this year.
He's looking for somebody to step up.
Yeah, someone has to step forward. No question. Given opportunities, and they just haven't been able to do it. That's been the tough. Now, you know, sometimes it's when you're losing, but when you have that lead, you got to step up and get 3 quick outs.
3-2 pitch. And a base hit in the left field. Baltimore keeps pecking away at the Indians bullpen.
Yeah, they do. That's 4 hits in the inning right now. And, you know, he's not going to walk him, so he's going to throw him a strike. And Trumbo's swinging a very good bat. That ball went down and in, and he just finds a hole between short and third. So now, that double play, how big was that double play now?
Matt Wieters will be the batter. He's 1 for 3 today with a double and a run batted in. And Shaw with a first pitch strike. Swung out and missed, and Shaw strikes him out. The Orioles now 2 for 14 with runners in scoring position today. But the Orioles close the gap. It's now 8-4 stretch time in Cleveland. And take the Indians and Sports Time Ohio with you wherever you go. Go to your app store, download the free Fox Sports Go app, log in, stream it, and take it with you wherever you're at. Michael Givens is the new pitcher for Baltimore. He comes on here in the bottom of the 7th after Vance Worley went 4 1/3 innings of relief.
Well, Worley did a pretty nice job keeping him in there. It's a 4-run game. The Indians have actually been out hit today, 10-9 by Baltimore.
Now 4 of those hits for Baltimore coming in the top half of this inning.
Misses with his first 3.
And he walks Uribe on 4 straight. And Juan's a guy that likes to hit. He doesn't like to go up there and be selective.
It's tough to walk him on 4 straight unless you're intentionally walking him.
Miller time brought to you by Miller Lite. Yan Gomes, I told you when the game began he was hitting .357 with runners in scoring position. First time up, 2-out, 2-run single. Then in the 5th inning he knocked in Uribe for his 3rd RBI of the afternoon. Right back. Boy, Oakland is just putting it on Detroit. They scored 5 in the 6th. They've added 3 more in the 7th, and there's still nobody out.
15 hits today for Oakland.
Mike Davis with a 3-run homer. Make it 11-3. I say Ike Davis, I meant the other Chris Davis. Chris with a K. Didn't he just do something pretty crazy? He's the guy that hit
3 home runs.
The 2, the 3, and the grand slam. 2-run homer, 3-run homer, grand slam in the same game. Fouled right back. Yeah, he's got 14 home runs now.
Yes, he does. They acquired him from the Milwaukee Brewers.
Man, that's in the dirt. And a nice backhanded pick by Wieters. Broken bat, left field, and Kim got a late break on it. I don't think he realized the bat got cracked.
Well, you can hear it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you go by sound, and that wind is blowing in when you look at the flags on top of the scoreboard, and it knocked it down a lot, so he was lucky to make that catch. Yeah, you can certainly tell by that sound that bat is cracked. But look at, he stays back, and he thought it was going to come to him. Big swing. But he makes the catch. I guess that's the bottom line. Catch it.
And a base hit into right field for Michael Martinez.
I'll tell you.
Uribe stops at second.
He was trying to do that. Hit the hole at first base to go first and third, and he was very successful at it. He went out there to find the hole between first and second. When you're holding the guy on, you see him turn on that. He wasn't staying inside the ball. He was doing that on purpose, man, trying to find the hole, and a nice job at doing so. So Michael gets his first hit of the day in his second at bat, and they have runners at first and second. Good job. As a left-handed hitter, you try to do that in hopes you can get him first to third.
So 2 on 1 out for Rajai Davis. Out of play right side.
So now with that hit by Martinez, both teams with 10 hits. Baltimore had 13 hits yesterday. The Indians had 10. So,
but half of the Indians' hits have come with a runner in scoring position, which is
that's the difference. Yeah.
Enabled them to put a bunch of runs on the board. And looking for more. Davis up and in a little tight. Rajai came in batting .371, which was 8th best in the American League with runners in scoring position. But he's down on strikes here, 2 away. And we'll turn it to the top of the order in Carlos Santana. He is 1 for 4 here today.
And that first hit came in the very first inning.
Yeah. 4 hits in his last 27 at bats, covering, including today's last 7 games. The wind is really whipping, blowing dirt and dust and everything else.
Yeah, there was no more sunlight now.
Santana swings, lost the bat, and the ball's going to drop in right field for a base hit. Uribe will score. Martinez stops at third. Where did the bat end up?
I don't know. Good question. Oh, back behind the
all the way at the back of the screen.
Yeah, watch. There it goes.
Oh my goodness.
I wondered why that ball just floated out to right field, because the bat is gone. But you couldn't throw it out there any better. He gets a base hit. They score another run. In comes Uribe. Martinez goes to third, and whoopsie. Well, you talk about another hit with a runner in scoring position. There's Santana doing it. Uribe scores his second run of the day. It's now a 9-4 game.
Jason Kipnis 0 for 3 on the afternoon. This is crazy. Stuff flying everywhere. And Kipnis takes 1 ball, 1 strike. Good fastball at 95 miles an hour. He elevated it just enough to throw it by Kipnis. Runner goes. Wieters throw to second. Offline, gets away. Coming home is Martinez. He's going to score. Great heads up running by Michael Martinez.
Yes, it is. You steal a run right there. That's a freebie. If they choose to throw through, you wait as a base runner on third base. Once Wieters lets that ball go, you can take off. He didn't, though. He waited to read it, and that throw sailed on Machado. He didn't take off until the ball was thrown. That's going to be an error, I think, on Wieters. Be a stolen base and an error on Wieters. Another stolen base. That's 5 for the Indians today. And then for Baltimore, their third error.
A broken bat over the mound. KIPNIS digging out.
What a play.
But a great play by Michael Givens with the flip to first to end the inning. But the Tribe tacks on 2 more, and they lead it 10-4 over and out. Copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Cleveland Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians. (10-4) Cleveland on top. Nice play at the end of the inning by Michael Givens.
Well, watch the spin. He's going to stay after it and hustle. That ball checks up. He barehands it and flips it over to Davis, who barehands it and steps on the base for the third out.
Why do we even need gloves?
Well, he got himself out of that inning. And now Zach McAllister in a ball game. Came in last night and gave it up in the 7th inning. Gave up the 3 runs. So back in there tonight. After the Indians were able to come back, they answered. You know, Baltimore's 2-run top half of the 7th with 2 of their own.
Fastball strike to Jonathan Scope, who is 1 for 3. Throw it right by him upstairs. And a strikeout for McAllister, 1 down in the 8th.
And wasted no time. Came back 3 straight fastballs. This one outside and throws it by Scope. So out number 1 in the 8th.
By the way, the update from Kansas City on Salvador Perez, their all-star catcher and unquestioned team leader. Rustin Dodd of the Kansas City Star says he was diagnosed with a quadricep contusion. No structural damage, but he will undergo an MRI tomorrow. So I'm sure everybody in Kansas City will be holding their breath until then.
The way it's gone for them this year, you're absolutely right.
Upstairs to Pedro Alvarez. If you missed it earlier, joined us late. Kansas City with one of the all-time rallies today. They were down 7-1 going into the bottom of the 9th, and they scored 7 times against the White Sox to beat Chicago 8-7.
And they scored 5 last night to come back and beat them.
Yeah.
So they did it back-to-back days.
There's a drive to deep center, but back is Rajay Davis, and he makes the catch 2 away. grounds crew sprinting down to get in position behind
That's
the
not
tarp.
good. They know it's coming then if they are perched and ready to go. Look at them. File in order, boys.
Hopefully this is a just-in-case maneuver.
Well, it is. We're only in the top of the 8th, though.
Bomb back out of play. This is great. I just read a story here, Rick.
Has it started raining? Because people are heading for the exits or for cover.
Yeah, it's raining. Yep. Since 1910, in Major League Baseball, only 5 teams have won a game going into the bottom of the 9th down by 6 runs.
Since 1910.
Yeah, only
5
teams have ever done it.
Wow.
There's a story here. They had the record. Teams were 5 and 2,810.
Well, like I said, that could be a very crushing blow to bounce back from.
For Chicago. Indeed.
Yeah.
What it could possibly mean for Kansas City, who knows too, because they've sort of been waffling around, but they've got some injuries to overcome themselves.
They've won, I think, their last 4 series that they have played.
Check swing. One thing Kansas City knows is that it's a long season. They've been to the top of the mountain. They've done it. They know what it takes. So I think that definitely plays in their favor. They just want to stay within striking distance of everybody.
Well, that is true. You know, with everything that has happened now, looking at that disabled list over there. But they know they got to play through it. No one feels sorry for you. Hey, that happens. That's baseball. That's part of it. The Indians themselves, Carrasco's been out. Michael Brantley out for most of the year, and they've been able to do what they're doing without those guys. And good news is Carrasco is on the horizon. He may end up getting a start against Kansas City when they come in here next weekend.
Yeah, Michael Brantley met with reporters earlier and basically said, I don't have a timetable right now, but he's hoping to get back on the field. Zach McAllister works a 1-2-3-8, and the Indians lead at 10-4. Field. And Baltimore goes back to their bullpen. Asher Tolliver is the new pitcher in for Baltimore. The left-hander will face 3, 4, and 5 spots in the Indians order.
Just made his major league debut a couple days ago in Houston. Struck out Colby Rasmus, the first major league hitter he faced. Not a very big guy, so you don't expect him to throw it very hard. Let's check it out and see. 91 for the first pitch. We got a nice little steady rain coming down now.
Tolliver off the mound, throws it wide of the mark, and Lindor will go to second. And now Gary Cederstrom looks to the grounds crew, and he's just about ready to pull the plug on this thing, I believe.
Yeah,
here they come. Tarp time in Cleveland. So we are officially in rain delay mode with nobody out here in the bottom of the 8th. Unfortunate for the Indians in that they're closing in on closing this baby out, but we may have to sit for a while. The good news is this doesn't appear to be, you know, like a normal spring rain where it looks like it might rain for an hour or so. This is just probably a shower that will blow through rather quickly, I would imagine. But the Indians, if you join us late, jumped out on Ubaldo Jimenez with 4 runs in the first inning. Jimenez lasted just an inning and 2/3 as the Tribe got him for 6 runs on 5 hits. He did walk 3. 3 of the runs ended up being unearned because of an error by the third baseman Pedro Alvarez in the first inning. But the damage was done as the Indians led it early 7-0. And then Baltimore tried to scratch their way back in it, but the good news is once you get out to the big lead, you can just keep adding runs, and that's what they did here today.
They've been able to do it, and that's a tough way to play baseball, trying to play catch up all game.
Now the rain falling here at Progressive Field. I imagine for some folks it probably feels good because it was smoking hot, 86 degrees at game time here today, and pretty humid. But now here in the bottom of the 8th inning, leadoff man aboard, Francisco Lindor.
Well, what I don't like, they're putting down those spikes on that tarp. That means there's a lot of high winds around.
Yeah,
they have a chance to blow it up.
All right. Well, I guess we'll take a break. Timeout. We'll come back and reconvene, see if we can figure this thing out. 10-4 Tribe. We're in the 8th inning with nobody out, and the Indians batting as we begin a rain delay that, as you said, might be a little lengthier than we initially anticipated as they are starting to stake down the tarp. We'll be right back. again, and he's been very good at home. So that
Yes.
trend continues. And Ubaldo Jimenez was just kind of more or less what he's been all season long.
Just another bad start for him. I mean, there's no way to sugarcoat it. He's been bad, and you know, he's in the rotation, and right out of the get-go, 4 runs in the first inning, and that's exactly what the Indians needed. I mean, you set it up, you get that first man on base, and there's the play, the error on Alvarez. It sneaks down into the corner. There's a couple of runs to come around and score, and then Gomes gets a big 2-out base hit to cap that 4-run inning. So there was 4 scored, and they've just been adding on ever since. 2 in the second, 1 in the third, 1 in the fifth, 2 in the seventh, and they have an opportunity now here with the error leading off last inning with a man on second and nobody out.
Swing and a miss by Mike Napoli. Remember, Lindor is at second base. Was that just a straight error? Do you remember?
Yeah, it's a straight error off the pitcher on the throw. He should have.
That's the 4th error of the game for Baltimore.
Yes, it is.
And that's outside.
And for Baltimore,
The new shortstop is Paul Janisch, as Manny Machado gets the rest of this game off. Baltimore's also made a change in the outfield. I see that Adam Jones is gone from the game. I believe Nolan Reimold is probably out there, but
turning into like a spring training game. All right, get my gamers out of here. Bad weather setting in. It's time to. They've seen enough today.
Up and away. Napoli sends one to center field. Joey Rickard going back. He's on the track, and he will make the catch. And that is out, number 1. With Rickard in center field, he started the game in right. The new right fielder is Nolan Reimold, who just came into the ball game for Baltimore. And I think that's the only change. I can't tell. Is that Weeder still behind the plate, or is that that's Caleb Joseph who's taking over behind the plate? So that's the only other change for Baltimore after the brief rain delay here in Cleveland. It's a final in Oakland. The A's beat the Tigers 12-3. 17 hits for the A's. Yu Darvish making his return to the mound for the Rangers. They're just underway in Texas against the Pirates. The Indians will face Texas next week, but they won't see Yu Darvish.
Right.
Infield in for Baltimore with 1 out, and Lindor at third base. Ramirez trying to bring him home. He's been very good with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, he and Davis Rajai in the top 10 in the league with runners in scoring position.
Oh, Ryan Flaherty's also in the game. He's at first base. And a line drive to right field, and it will be a base hit for Jose Ramirez, who continues with the magic wand. It's his 19th RBI on the year, and that's 16 hits in his last 36 at bats.
Yeah, and he has 19 RBIs. I'll tell you what, you get a confidence going when you're off to a good start with runners in scoring position, and you know, he's got that feel like, hey, my job is to get him in. And I like the approach on the left-hander. He didn't try to pull him, stayed on the baseball, shoot it the other way, and he gets the base hit and the RBI. And it's now 11-4 try.
And Juan Uribe, the batter, he scored twice, driven in a run.
The Indians have scored in 6 of the 8 innings that they've played so far.
Austin Adams in the pen for Cleveland. The series finale tomorrow features Mike Clevenger against Chris Tillman. Tillman's off to a great start. He's 6-1 with a 2.61 ERA for Baltimore. And it'll be a 1 o'clock start. There's Clevenger who will get the start for Cleveland. Now the 2-1. And Uribe with a solid line drive base hit into center field. And Ramirez stops at second.
Uribe's been on base 4 times today.
Pat O'Brien play of the game. Yan Gomes, first inning, 2 out, 2-run single. Those are backbreakers. That went from a 2-run first inning to a 4-run first inning. Rick, the Indians never looked back after that.
They have not. And now they're piling it on. Now they have 13 hits, 11 runs.
The Indians' 7-run lead equals their largest lead of the game. At one point, Baltimore had cut the gap to 4 runs when it was 8-4, but the Indians have scored the last 3. Asher Tolliver is the 4th pitcher of the game for Baltimore. All 4 pitchers have given up at least a run. 1-2.
This offense turned around when the Cincinnati Reds came to town in that first game of the series, when they put 15 runs on the board here at home.
Yeah.
And 19 hits in that game, and they haven't looked back. They have 11 runs today, 13 hits, and boy, that got some confidence going.
Gomes out on strikes as he's caught looking 2 away. That'll bring up Michael Martinez, who is 1 for 2. His first 2 at bats were left-handed. He'll bat right-handed here against the lefty Tolliver. Upstairs, ball 1. Michael Brantley, who's aiming to get back to action here. He's been doing some swinging off the tee, waiting for the pain and the discomfort to subside in that shoulder since he got an anti-inflammatory shot. But when he comes back, he wants to be back. Not, oh, I'm good for a couple of days, then I'll need a few days off. He wants to make sure that when he comes back, he's here for the long haul. That ends the inning. The Indians get another run, and we'll head to the 9th with the Tribe up 7. To the ball game for Indians Live, presented by Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care. Al Pulaski, Jensen Lewis will take you through whatever you missed. I have updates from the clubhouse. Andre will grab one of the guys.
Is Andre still around?
Well, he might be. He might be hitchhiking his way back home.
Oh, he's here. I see him.
Number 15,
Austin Adams will come on the pitch here in the 9th inning. And Chris Jimenez now behind the plate. You know, I was just thinking of something, Rick. Since we're all just playing amateur general manager, which is fun. Fun for fans to do as well. And that conversation we had about the 7th inning, or just bolstering the bullpen any way you can. At some point, Carlos Carrasco is going to rejoin the rotation.
It should be soon.
And at some point, you would figure the odd man out would be the young guy, Mike Clevenger. So, would he potentially be a guy that could help the club in the bullpen, or is he so far entrenched as a starter that you want to?
Yeah, I think they're going to send. I think he would go down and start. You know, they're more concerned about him. They don't. They used to do that in the big leagues a long time ago, where you'd bring kids up that had great arms and they could put him in a bullpen and maybe get his feet wet. They don't do that a lot anymore, you know, and I don't think they would start to do that now, because if he's not on his every 5-day rotation, what good? He's not learning anything unless he's starting out there, and unless you make sure you get him work. But
yeah,
you know, he's struggled a couple of starts here, so you can't keep him out there and not pitch him, you know, and sort of pick and choose situations.
Got a terrific arm. That there's no disputing that. But like a lot of young pitchers, it takes a while to navigate your way through the league.
Yes, it does.
Austin Adams with a 1-ball, 2-strike count, and a ground ball foul. Ball foul again. Nope, couldn't get him to chase. Paul Giannis, formerly of the Cincinnati Reds, also spent a little time with the Braves. And the 2-2 got him looking with a breaking ball.
Comes back with that slider. This time he throws it for a strike and locks him up. He wouldn't chase it. But then Austin comes back and gets him looking.
And the pitch is on the outside corner for a strike. Hyun-Soo Kim is 1 out of 4 on the afternoon. Out of play. Swung on and missed. He got him to chase, and that's not easy to do. Kim strikes out, and there are 2 down in the 9th inning.
Well, let's look at this pitch. It's an off-speed pitch. Change-up possibly. Going down and away. Got him to swing at it. It was a good pitch.
Yeah, I think it was. It didn't have that kind of breaking ball spin.
Yeah, it had nice movement. I don't think he throws a split, but I thought that was a changeup.
Down in the dirt. Caleb Joseph batting in the spot that was occupied by Manny Machado earlier today. 2-0 pitch, line to right, slicing, and a foul ball. Now the 2-1 offering. Right field, Martinez back. He's there. He makes the catch, and the Indians win the ball game. And for the first time since July 2nd of 2013, the Cleveland Indians find themselves in first place in the American League Central Division. They move a half game in front of the Chicago White Sox, who lost earlier this afternoon in startling fashion to the Kansas City Royals. The Tribe now 26-21 on the year. And Baltimore falls to 27-20. The winning pitcher is Danny Salazar. He's now 5-3. The loser, Ubaldo Jimenez, who is now 2-6 on the year. And the 2 teams have split the first 2 games of the series, so the rubber match will be tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern right here at Progressive Field, and we'll have it for you on Sports Time Ohio.
Well, this game was pretty much decided from the very first inning.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, you know, when they came out, they were able to get on to Ubaldo Jimenez. And, you know, Salazar, he cruised. I mean, he pitched well again at home, but you give that guy a couple of runs, and it's so easy for him to go out there. So a big win and a good win. So now tomorrow you win the series. You try and get that 3rd game, and we'll see, because Mike Clevenger gets his 3rd start.
I know the players always say, well, it's too early to start looking at the standings, but we can.
Well, that's true. They don't have to. We can. But you again, it falls into play. You win the series, and you'll be in good shape in the long run.
Back in first place, the Cleveland Indians beat the Baltimore Orioles, and we'll have some final thoughts right after this.